Hello and welcome. It is the 15th day of January, currently 12:03 a.m. or 3 minutes into the new day Eastern Time. My name is Derek and this is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and within the like, that's each his own risk and their own reward. Simply via looking at Theta against Bitcoin on the daily, you really can't see anything to say, yeah, this thing looks like it's going to be going up higher, other than, well, it's holding within this Fibonacci line for a couple of days, but not much more. Shorter term, spoiler, yeah, I think this thing's going to break out. I do like how it comes up to this resistance point, and it did almost come to it here on the 3 a.m. stay of Jan 9. But then a couple days later, and hits it, shows strength amongst the highs, but really doesn't sustain the greatest of moves, albeit noticeably higher from here. But it's been a long correctionary phase. I know, say the if and get above the 18 average of highs, 57 high change into 58. It's going to look like this thing. Okay, people. This is in setup for a great move. Let's shorten it out even further. Hourly, it doesn't seem so much different. A lot of resistance and support back and forth amongst the highs and lows. But I guess interesting on the 15. It's been congesting amongst the Fibonacci for quite some time. Ever since lunchtime. Getting above it, below it, and so on and so forth. So the fact that this move is doing what it's doing doesn't necessarily mean it's extremely bullish, but I do like how the previous period has done what it's done, and so far, 5 minutes or 1/3 into this one, it's done, and I'm referring to this outside period. The low, significantly lower than this, and the high, significantly higher than, well, many of these as well. So a higher high and higher low of the previous, well, it's technically 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, like 15 or so periods. But you can't just tell with a 50, well, what happened in here? We got to short the time frame out and see. On the 5, you can see that it went down first. That a big amount of selling came in. And then on bigger volume after the fact, buying comes in. Oh, my goodness. Okay, how do you do? We'll see what happens. And on the 1 minute, we can see more towards the situation. There's a selling in here. And then, I mean, someone just comes in and just makes a big buy. For a few minutes right after, what already was a okay size sale here. Nothing bigger than this, but I have a little bit of a theory. I don't know if this is true or not. And it's not that big of a buy here. Maybe it was. I don't know what the exact, let's just see what the volume on here is. And I mean, a lot of this, I don't know what's going on. This has got the US dollar market and there's two different markets going on too. But one of my theories is and I want to take a look against the dollar just to make sure as well, because I haven't looked at that for. One of my theories though is you're a big buyer, big whale purchase, you have a bid order in. Once it hits, then you just buy it up. And then you get a good amount for it really helps your dollar cost average on your, well, obviously you're planning a big buy situation, so it helps your dollar cost average. On the 1 minute, you can see it just goes up, holds this, and does very well. And I think this thing does look as if it is ready to get going. I really do take a look at this against the dollar and see what happened on the 1. Yeah, you can see the big volume in here, same sort of deal, then large volume coming in after the fact. So I think Theta's got a good chance of having a fantastic day. And even as I'm doing this, like an hour or two from now, I wouldn't be surprised if this is already broken out from then, like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Of course, the market will do what it does. I just look at the setup and I think that it looks like a fantastic one. Now, what I've been saying about Bitcoin is if it can hold and stay above this key Fibonacci line for quite some time. And you can't see it on here because it's way above it now. 5 minute term time frame. Yeah, there it is down below. Holding stay above this. Yeah. It's holding and staying above like like close to like the 76.4% on that area. But it supported it and left it last night at 2300 hours or 25 hours ago. And since it started to break out this morning at 8:15, it has been in a sideways range from where it started breakout from, and that's where it is now. This resistance is a little higher, but the fact that it's holding and staying is a fantastic situation. Switching into the hourly term time frame, and been a lot of good gains of higher highs and higher lows. This is the first time it's now managed to have any action below the 18 of lows. Second period and such as well too. So any type of correctionary moves, Fibonacci, I'd have to go from this low to this high. Like 30,200 up to the high that we just hit around 40K. And then that's going to be a correctionary move to make a significant higher low and then be able to successfully retrace back. So if this is a key high, we start to see this go lower. See this go down to like wherever. Even if it goes down to like 34.2 or whatever, that's the higher low to here. And then if on the retracement back, which would be from, of course, this high to the low, it would end up establishing, because it's already made this big move, so it's important for that hold to come into play. And then amongst such as this daily term time frame has just been in a fantastic setup. Since this thing broke out from all-time highs of the older days, 2017, which was on December the 16th of last year. Make it sound like it's a long time ago when I say December 16th of last year, when really that was a month ago. And it barely seen the 18 on the 4th of January. I mean, it never even seen it the rest of that year. Make it sound like it was a magnificent event that it did the entire year for 2 weeks plus. But yeah, that is magnificent in itself. I mean, it obviously was. Go from 20,000 to 32 at that time. And then it comes down to back to this area where it came from. Doing so on January the 10th. This is day number 6 that we are entering into now. In which you could say it's in correctionary phase, sort of, even though it's less than that. It did technically hit it on the 10th, although it did try to attempt to stay the trend. It did get above it, and I really can't count that, no. So ever since the breakdown in here, ever since on the 11th of January, it broke down below 36,000. Which would have been ever since in here. So within this situation, it's been a fantastic move as it is already. Like, wow. The indication for this bull market to be finished is not in play. In fact, the continuation of, oh my goodness, fantastic. What is this bull market going to do? How high do we go? Kind of situations is very, very live. For you have a high, come back to the 18 like this, spend like 3-4 days, and then you see it starting to break out above this, like 43, 44,000. It's like, okay, guess another leg higher is coming. I mean, on the weekly time frame, it's just getting way, way overextended. But I've already talked about the monthly. Oh yeah, it's not way overextended on the monthly. We'll get there in a bit. But practically every single candle is either up or sideways. I mean, the down ones, the week, there's November 23rd, 1.3% down and 1.1. Then we have this down week of 1. We have this down week of 1.3. This was down to 12.37. Then we have all these small ones here. 1% down. Even this is like 4. Since May 25th, there's only been 1 week down like under 5%. And even since here, September 17th, there hasn't been any of them down worse than 1.5%. And that's just how big of a fantastic run and how way overextended this market is. But as it is way overextended, has it had any parabolic moves? My answer is barely. Since on the breakout, it had this good run. No, that's a normal, nice, good run. And then you have this, correctionary phase while it's barely going up over these 3 or so periods. But reason why I say barely is because this move here, it's pretty good. But, I mean, Shania Twain sung a song once that don't impress me much. And for an amazing run, that definitely doesn't impress me. Which tells me that the potential for that still comes into play. I don't see no monstrous volume of like, or any weeks in here you can see like 26% up and 11. I don't see any 40, 60, 80% up for a 30, 40% day is live or 20% day. When I say live, it's most certainly improbable. Very improbable at that. At least, I mean, for those magnitudes. But it's a lot more probable today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and next Friday than it was so many previous days when the market was nowhere in this kind of bullish situation. And the monthly chart, again, is extended. Especially, I mean, you look at this from the logarithmic point of view. Yeah, it's gotten above this here. If this has a fantastic month, we can see here up 42%, 47, and right now it's up 33. But if you have any like fantastic, like 80, 120, 140s, then it would start to be overextended. And the price action on this would, well, if it's 100%, 120, 140, we're talking like 60, 63,000, which to me is a realistic level in which it could go to. And I felt for quite some time, and it's going to really confuse, not really, it won't confuse me, and maybe a bit, on if this is the move. And I don't think it is. This is why I said, because I've always thought 60,000 conservative level is where Bitcoin is going to on a break of this resistance. Well, it's broken that resistance. It's gotten up to 40 and change. So if it ends up going on this like this next week in the next month or whatever, within this move to 60-ish area, I'm thinking, well, yeah, it's conservative level. And I realize it's not going to happen that fast. But what's the realistic stuff? It's got to correct via that of most likely price and or time, probably and then it would eventually get to 80, 91, 120, 160, which should hopefully take you late into this year, if not into the next or next year following. Of course, the next year following would be better for me as a trader, and thus there'd be more trades available, more volatility, and wouldn't be as fast either. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.